Hi guys, and welcome to crackchinacup.com. My name is Leomie and I'm going to be giving you my top online shopping tips. So that's eBay, online shopping, everything. One thing that I know that I could not live without when online shopping is my eBay app, which is on my iPhone and on my iPad. Like, it's so good because if I'm watching stuff or, you know, I'm about to bid on something, I want to be able to access it straight away no matter where I am without having to log in and like freak out, you know, oh, this is not working, oh, blah, blah. Like, literally, I have my app, it's already signed in, I can bid, I can watch, you know, I can email the seller and stuff like that. So definitely one thing that you need before you do anything, online shopping or eBay, anything, you need your eBay app in your life. However, don't rely on the eBay app to help you find stuff. Like, whenever searching on eBay, always use, you know, your internet, because the app actually is only connected to .co.uk and that has not got, you know, an array of stuff. You need to search on ebay.com. If you're only searching on ebay.co.uk, you're not going to find half the amount of the stuff that is out there, to be honest. And number 2, patience is a virtue. Do you know how many times I've been on eBay for like hours and hours trying to look for one thing or one thing that catches my eye, and it could be on like the 22nd page or it could be on the first page. You have to have a lot of patience when dealing with online shopping on websites such as eBay or Etsy or Vestair Collective or Mallory's, because they don't have a, you know, a specific style. There could be loads of crap stuff on pages and pages and pages, and on the last page, you know, you'll find this vintage gem. So literally, never give up and be really, really patient. Tip number 3 or something like that. Now we're going to get into like one of my own personal little shopping tips that I do. Like, if I imagine something in my head, right, let's just say, oh, I want a vintage leather jacket with gold zips. I will go on Google and Google image vintage, you know, leather jacket with gold zips, and I'll see pages and pages of pictures come up. And if I see a jacket that resembles what I'm thinking about in my mind, then I'll click on that picture, and that picture might lead to, you know, a blog, and that blog might lead to where that jacket came from. Like, there's no shame in saying, boy, I'm inspired by a celebrity. I like the trousers that she's wearing. I want those so I can wear it this way or that way. Sometimes it's obviously like it's hard to find out what brands or whatever celebrity is wearing sometimes. But once again, Google Images can help with that. For example, if you see Rihanna wearing a certain top, type in Rihanna gold top. There'll be 1,000,001 pictures, and I'm telling you, there's also 1,000,001 bloggers who thought they were smart, which they are, and have posted where the top is from. So literally, you can probably find your celebrity look, or even, you know, bloggers always do, you know, find a look for less, and you'll be able to have that celebrity look that you've been looking for just by using Google Images to find the outfit. When you're shopping online or looking for a specific thing, or, you know, like you want a certain jacket, a certain material or a certain cut, try your best to find out what the exact, you know, the exact material, the exact correct name is for that item. Say, for example, you know, if you want a sheepskin coat, try shearling jacket, because people will actually type in like a really specific name for the fabric or the material, as opposed to just typing sheepskin jacket. Like, obviously there'll be loads of those, but a lot of like vintage sellers and stuff will use really correct terminology for their items. So like, for example, I have a vintage shearling jacket, which I found, when I was typing in sheepskin jacket, loads of stuff was coming up, but not the jacket that I actually found and bought. Once I worked out that the name was shearling, or like I saw it on somebody else's eBay listing that it's a shearling jacket, once I started searching for that, a lot more, you know, specific things came up, and a lot more vintage sellers came up, as opposed to just like random people selling their stuff. And it's the same with cuts of jackets as well. Like, if you want a certain jacket, like you know, a parka, a blazer, like a biker, make sure that you type in the correct name, because then it will narrow down the search and make it a lot easier for you to find the one thing that you want, like if you have a specific thing in your mind that is. One thing that you will need is a tape measure nearby. Literally, there's so many times when you think, oh, I'm a size small in, you know, all my, you know, Topshop or wherever, my high street clothes. I'm a small, so this says small, I'm a small. No, make sure you read the measurements, because a small back in the 60s may be like a XXS now, or, you know, a large back then may be like XXL now. Like, things change, that's just the way it is. And I feel like people in the past were like much smaller or something, because like there's so many times I said small and I measure it on me and I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna fit me. Like, when I'm searching for, you know, a vintage item or a certain thing, like I almost always search designer, because fashion tends to repeat itself, and you know, I'd rather have a vintage designer piece from the 60s than, you know, the high street version that's just come out now, which is going to be like the same price. Because, you know, say for example, you could probably buy a vintage pair of Versace Baroque trousers on eBay for like what, £100, but you could buy the same pair from a high street shop for 80. High street versus vintage Versace, which you could pick up in 10 years and be worth, you know, £300, £400. Literally, I prefer to always search designers. As I said before, I always buy designer, but one thing that I urge you lot to do before rushing into buying, you know, this LV bag that you've seen, you know, or this Gucci, make sure you do your research, especially on items that are heavily counterfeited, such as handbags and purses. For example, a lot of vintage Chanel bags and a lot of vintage Gucci bags have serial numbers or holograms, or, you know, a piece of identification that lets you know that this is real. With Chanel, there's also the authenticity card that they have, but you know, a lot of bags, a lot of owners have lost those, to be honest, so sometimes I don't have that. But please be sure to, you know, don't be afraid to ask the seller questions. So, you know, ask them, does it have a hologram? Does it have a serial number? And if they don't want to reply back to you, don't go there, because you'd rather not risk it. But ask them to send you pictures. You can always ask for more pictures. The ask a seller a question thing is there for you to question them. And if they don't want to give you the time of day, don't buy that item, because it could be fake. And they're probably just waiting for someone to rush into it who hasn't watched my video and just buy it, because literally there's so many fakes out there, so really do be careful. Another thing when buying vintage designer items is that you should never assume that it's real just because it's vintage, because from when a bag is made, you know, a week after, there's going to be 1,000 counterfeits making a fake version, even back in the 60s and all that. So, you know, always do your research. A way that you can find out a little bit more information about the item that you're considering buying is eBay forums or Googling how to spot a fake. I do it all the time before buying bags. So, you know, there's little things like on the zip, maybe there's a certain marking. Like, there's so many ways you can spot a fake or spot a genuine bag. So make sure you Google it. Another thing that you can do as well is check the seller's feedback. If the seller sells a lot of vintage handbags, for example, check their feedback and see if anyone's complaining about the bag being fake. And if you've seen several complaints, do ask the seller, you know, just suss them out, see what they say. If they seem like they're lying, don't buy it, because it's just going to be a waste of your money. If you're worried about buying a designer bag or purse or something like that from eBay because you're scared it's going to be fake, then, you know, there's so many other websites out there which you can use that, you know, they check the bags for you, they check the items before it's been sent to you or before it's even been put on the website to check if it's real or not. So then you have no worries whatsoever. Some items will come with import tax, which is usually like £25 to £30, depends on the item. And it usually only happens when the item's designed for some reason. So always keep that in mind when you're buying an item, that it might cost £30 more than the price that you're paying for on eBay, due to the fact that it's going to be held in customs.